Hello children, good morning. So today we'll do the questions and answers of the summer of the beautiful white horse. I hope you read the chapter, the lesson thoroughly. Did you go through the summary? I have revised, I have done it so many times. I'm sure you must have gone through the summary also. If you don't go through the summary, you will not understand the lesson. So let's begin today's session. Reading with insight. This is about which chapter? I'm talking about the summer of the beautiful white horse. So here is the first question for you children. You will probably agree that this story does not have breathless adventure and exciting action. Yes, there is no adventure involved. There is no exciting action. What is there in the story? Did you go through? It is about cousins Mored and Aram. Mored brings a horse, a beautiful white horse. It is not that he steals. He brings it because he was interested in horse riding. And why did he not buy? Because he was poor. He could not afford to buy. That's the reason. But he did not steal the horse. So you have to remember this point. The answer. The story, The Summer of the Beautiful White Horse, is a tale. A tale means a story. T-A-L-E. A tale told from the viewpoint of a 9-year-old boy. At that age, imagination is rich and one can romanticize even insignificant actions. Insignificant means small actions. May not be that important also. To such a person, the world is full of excellence and glory, and life is delightful, full of joy, full of enjoyment, and a mysterious dream. Life is like a dream. For the young poor boy, a ride on a beautiful white horse is a dream fulfilled. See, he had that desire to ride a beautiful white horse, and here his dream was fulfilled because he was able to do that. He had been always longing. He was so eager, he wanted to ride, and his cherished dream is realized when his cousin Morad offers him a chance to ride on horseback. First with him and then alone. So riding the stolen horse, here it is mentioned stolen, but actually he did not steal with the intention of stealing. That is why I said did not steal. But yes, you take anything from anyone without informing, that itself is stealing. There is no doubt about that. So riding the stolen horse and hiding it safely are great feats of adventure for the two boys. For them, this itself was an adventure. Though the storyline is thin, we eagerly follow the course of action taken by the boys till they return the horse to its rightful owner. Yes, finally the boys return the horse, not that they keep the horse with them. That is why I said it cannot be called stealing. That's the reason I said that. The story provides us a peep into child psychology, what a child thinks, how a child thinks. For boys who are crazy about horses, stealing a horse for a ride is not stealing. See, I also said the same thing. They were crazy. They wanted to ride, they did that, and they returned the horse. So, exactly, you cannot call it stealing. Yes, children. Though they enjoy the thrill of riding, they are conscious of their family pride. Garoghlanian family, the Garoghlanian tribe, is well known for honesty and trust. They never lie, they never cheat, they never steal. They would neither steal nor take advantage of anybody in the world. Another point of interest is characterization. So that is another interesting part. The delineation of the common traits. Traits means characteristics of Uncle Khosrow and cousin Morad's is superb. The story also contains many purple passages full of pictorial description. All these heighten its appeal to the reader. That means it makes the story very interesting. The readers find the story very, very interesting. Okay. So now we'll move on to the second question. Did the boys return the horse because they were conscience stricken or because they were afraid? No, not because they were afraid or on that. Yes, they were conscience stricken. Their conscience must have told them, no, see, what you're doing is wrong. Okay, the story gives no indication that the boys were afraid of anyone. No, they were not afraid. They knew that what they were doing was wrong. So it was better to be on the right path. And moreover, they were not thieves. Hence, the return of the horse was not directed by fear. They didn't do that out of fear. Secondly, they were not at all conscience stricken. They did not feel any pangs of repentance or remorse. Remorse means they didn't have this type of feeling. What? Oh, why did I do it? I shouldn't have done it. No, nothing of that sort at all. The narrator makes it amply clear. Amply clear means very clear. When he says that stealing a horse for a ride was not the same thing as stealing something else. Say, for example, money or something like that. For him, it wasn't stealing at all, as he and Morad were so crazy about horses. In his opinion, it would become stealing only when they offered to sell the horse, which he knew they would never do. So their intentions were not bad. Their intention was not stealing at all. Yes, intention was not to steal the horse. The last phrase gives a clue of their mental makeup. Mental makeup, how their thoughts were, what did they think and all that. Okay. Morad had the horse for over a month when Farmer John Biro visited the narrator's house. So they retained it for 2 weeks more. Morad outrightly rejected the narrator's suggestion of keeping the horse any longer. It was his family pride that would not let him steal. He decided that the horse must go back to its true owner, the real owner. Who was the real owner? John Biro. The meeting with John Biro proved conclusive. He praised their family for its honesty. He trusted the boys as he knew their parents. Hence, in order to uphold the family tradition and reputation, the boys returned the horse to its rightful owner. Who was the owner? John Biro. Now the next question, children. One day back there in the good old days when I was 9 and the world was full of every imaginable kind of magnificence and life was still a delightful and mysterious dream. The story begins in a mood of nostalgia. Can you narrate some incident from your childhood that might make an interesting story? That is, when you were very, very small, something interesting might have happened. You can write your own story here, children. This is just a sample answer. I had just completed my primary education when I visited my uncle. He was a forest ranger in Dehradun. In those days, there was a thick forest in the vicinity. Vicinity means nearby area of the city, and all sorts of wild animals prowled there, moved there. Uncle had advised us not to enter the deep forest, but forbidden fruit is always sweet. You're told not to do something, you're always tempted to do that only. My cousin Varun, a couple of his friends, and I decided to explore the southern range. We had the kits of scouts and were fully prepared. So, in our boyish enthusiasm, we went deep into the jungle. Always small children are very inquisitive and reached a gorge. We were amazed to see a lioness with her cubs. One of us, perhaps Mohit, clicked his camera. The flashlight scared the lioness and she roared and leaped. Leaped means she started jumping. Fortunately, there was a big ditch, gadha in Hindi we call it, and she fell into it. Meanwhile, we lit our torches, collected dry leaves and twigs and set them on fire. Momentarily, we got respite from attackers. Who were the attackers? The lioness. Then we threw some green leaves on fire to give smoke signal so that the lioness would be scared and would run away. A patrol party noticed it and rescued us. I shudder. Shudder means when you think about this particular incident, you're full of fear. Whenever I think of this adventure, when we were close to death, yes, very close to death, the lioness might have killed them or killed him. That is why closed to death. Okay, the next one. The story revolves around characters who belong to tribe in Armenia. Mored and Aram are members of the Garoghlanian family. Now, locate Armenia and Assyria on the atlas and prepare a write-up on the Garoghlanian tribe. This is, you have to do this, okay? You try to locate it in your atlas map. You may write about the people, their names, traits, the geographical and economic features, etc. So, one sample answer for you. Of course, you can take ideas from the story, from the lesson, the Garoghlanian tribes. You can Google and find out also some more points. The Garoghlanian family was an Armenian tribe. This is a very important question, children. 11 centuries ago, it was the wealthiest family. Long back, it was very rich family in that part of the world. However, now every branch of the Garoghlanian tribe was living in the most amazing and comical poverty in the world. These poor people had no money, but still they were so happy. See, nobody could understand where they ever got money enough to keep them with food in their bellies. Then the question is, if they did not have enough money, how did they manage to eat their food? The Garoghlanian tribes were famous for their honesty. It had been the hallmark of the tribe for many centuries. They were proud of their family. Honesty came next, and then they believed in right and wrong. They were very particular about that, right and wrong, honesty, truth, and all that. None of them would take advantage of anybody in the world. No member of the Garoghlanian family could be a thief. No, never. The elders felt pained to remember that they had lost their homeland. These people shifted their residence. Where did they shift their residence? From one place to another. So these people shifted their residence from one place to another, nomads. The narrator says that we lived at the edge of the town on Walnut Avenue. They loved countryside, having vineyards, walnuts. The names of the people are semi-Arabic: Mored, Aram, Khosrow, etc. Okay, now children, we have the short answer type questions. These are also very important. You get this type also in the examination. I couldn't believe what I saw, says the narrator. What was so unbelievable and why? The narrator saw his cousin Morat sitting on a beautiful white horse. It was unbelievable, for they belonged to poor families, and buying such a beautiful white horse was beyond their means. Means they couldn't afford to buy one. Yeah. Okay, so now the second question. Okay, so now the next question. What two character traits of Morat are hinted at by the narrator in the initial part of the story? So let's have a look at the answer. Morat was considered crazy by everybody who knew him except the narrator. He was quite crazy about horses. Secondly, he enjoyed being alive more than anybody else. That means he was enjoying life actually, was not bothered about anything. This was the part that wouldn't permit me to believe what I saw. What part does the narrator hint at? The narrator refers to their poverty. They had no money. They lived in extreme poverty, and it was difficult to understand how they got food to satisfy their hunger. He frankly admits that every branch of the Garoghlanian family was living in the most amazing and comical poverty. By comical poverty, nobody knew how they were surviving. Yeah. Okay, now important traits of the Garoghlanian family. What is it highlighted? The traits that are highlighted in the story. You have to write that. Again, important from the point of view of examination. So please note. The Garoghlanian family, though now poor, were famous for their honesty even when they were wealthy. Now, when they were wealthy also, they did not indulge in any wrong acts like stealing and all that. They were proud of their family first, honest next, and after that they believed in right and wrong. None of them would take advantage of anybody in the world. They would not steal. No member of the Garoghlanian family could be a thief. No, never, not possible. They were noted for that. How did the narrator react on seeing the horse and Morat? The horse was magnificent to look, beautiful to look at, gave out a lovely smell, and his breathing was quite exciting. Yet he couldn't believe that the horse had anything to do with Morat, because he couldn't have bought it. But his intention was not stealing also. He just wanted to have a horse ride. Okay, the next one, children. What conflicting thoughts passed through the narrator's mind on seeing Morat on a beautiful white horse early one morning? The answer: the narrator was surprised. He knew that his cousin Morat couldn't have bought the horse. Since he couldn't have bought it, he must have stolen it. However, family pride came in the way. He refused to believe that he had stolen it. What feelings did the sight of cousin Morat and the horse arouse in the narrator? The narrator stared first at his cousin and then at the horse, because he was wondering from where he got this lovely, beautiful white horse. He was actually wondering. There was a pious stillness and humor in each of them. He was delighted as well as frightened. Why frightened? He knew that Adam knew that Morat cannot buy one. So maybe he has stolen. That's why it's slightly frightened. It was true then. He had stolen the horse. There was no question about it. He had come to invite me to ride or not, as I chose. How did the narrator convince himself to enjoy a horse ride with cousin Morat? Okay, so now let's have a look at the answer, children. Okay. It seemed to him that stealing a horse for a ride was not the same thing as stealing something else, such as money and all that. He was crazy about horses. So he brought it. He convinced himself with the thought that it would become stealing only when they offered to sell it. Yeah, only then it would be called stealing. But they're not going to sell the horse anyway. Give examples to show why cousin Morid was considered one of the craziest members of the narrator's family. Cousin Morid had a crazy streak, characteristic, Streak here means characteristic. He was quite crazy about horses. He kept the stolen white horse for about 6 weeks, rode it, loved it, fed it. Yeah, and finally he hid it and finally he returned it. He returned it to whom, children? Whose horse was that? It was the horse of John Biro. So, what do we understand from here? That the two boys, the two cousins were not bad. They're basically not thieves. Yes. So, please go through all the questions and answers. Write down in your notebook. Thank you. Goodbye. That's all for this session.